I'm so glad you asked me that, and thank you for opening up so much. But I was wondering that...
Well, because I knew that you had probably also believed that this was not going to be available to you in life, and that is the place I've been in for the last 7 years.
Yeah.
But mine was elective, and yours was elective.
Yes, absolutely.
So I was like, who better to ask this question to than someone who had purposefully shut themselves off to this in service of... for you, it was your spirituality, your religion. For me, it was for my kids.
Yes.
But again, I'm not codependent on them. I'm so aware of how much that would screw everything up. Them, me, all of it. But they do inspire me to be my best self.
Yes.
No one's come along. No romantic partner. No one ever. My friends are the closest second. But they are the people that have come into my life that have truly encouraged, forced, and inspired the greatest change I've done in my life.
Yes. And I think when it's elective and it's not suppressed or repressed or it's not done demanded, when it's done in that way, it can be really, really powerful because you get to, it's almost like if everyone had a period of their life. I mean, I often ask this question to people that I work with or clients that I coach, and it's that, I mean, I started dating when I was 14, probably. Dating. I don't know how old you were when you started dating.
My first boyfriend was when I was in the 3rd or 4th grade.
Wow.
And he was my first kiss.
No one would have dated me in the 3rd or 4th grade.
Well, but that was it. It ended there. It was very puppy love. It was very sweet, and it was very innocent.
Yeah, so I probably had my proper first girlfriend when I was 14. And I often ask people, between your first girlfriend to where you are now, or your first boyfriend, or whatever it may be till now, how many days have you spent single? And for most people, that answer isn't very long. I know people who could say 3 weeks, maybe 6 months, maybe 9 months, when you look at a whole life, and you start realizing that we haven't really spent much time having the opportunity to seek and experience all the other types of love because we've been chasing this one type of love to fulfill all our needs. But
it's so
I'm so grateful you asked me that question, genuinely.
Well, and I really am I haven't prioritized myself. What if I actually made myself my partner?
Absolutely.
What if I invested in myself? What I've invested in so many other people.
Yes.
In the form of these big, beautiful, chapter, adventurous, great romantic adventures that I've had, one of which led to the greatest meaning of my life, my kids. And I even feel weird saying my, because they're their own people, but our kids.
Yeah.
And it's been really great to prioritize myself and say, you know what? You have a lot of work to do. You got to figure out how to be a parent. You've got to figure out how to raise your inner child that did a lot of work back then, but there's some adult perspective you didn't have. So there's new work that needs to be done. You need to work on, maybe you've done the same thing over and over in your life, occupationally speaking. Is there other stuff out there? Or are you happy just doing things over and over again the same way? Maybe you are, but give yourself the chance to explore that.
Yeah.
And I've had such big life changes, and I've been there to support myself rather than, again, outward towards somebody else. I'm really a caretaker, and we all imprint. So much of what we're dealing with becomes a very 50-50 thing in a relationship, which is a beautiful gift, but you are taking in a lot of someone else's perspective and needs and stuff. And this has been such a great time for me. And something I said to my fellow coworker here, Jen, earlier today, something about some great guy came up, and she was like, "Ugh, where are all those great guys?" And she's such a marvelous woman, and she's so rad and so awesome. And I'm like, you know what, Stryker? Not only are you obviously going to find someone or some people, maybe it's one, maybe it's chapters. I said, but you know what? I'm going to be so mad at you, and you're going to be so mad at yourself if you waste this time, because it's coming. He's coming. And you're not going to get this time back.
Yeah.
So I always notice too when I ask people in the audience, how many of you guys are married? People raise their hands. And when I say how many of you are single, they all whoop.
Oh,
It's like, woo!
Oh, that's good. Oh, that's good.
And
Okay, yeah.
there is a celebratory pride that comes with being single.
Yeah.
And I hope people hold this dearly, that these things, for better or worse, don't last.
Yeah.
You're going to probably end up with someone. And so instead of like boo-hooing through this time, love it, like it, because one day it might be gone and you'll romanticize looking back how great it was to be in a relationship with yourself.
Absolutely. Drew, I love that. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's what you should have said. It was brilliant.
I would love to do a TED
Yeah,
Talk.
well, I mean, you need to on this exact topic. I think it's unbelievable. I have one last question for you. You said at the beginning of our interview, you said that when you were a kid and you were observing people in the industry, I was saying observing you, and then you started talking about observing others. You said, I was always looking at people and trying to make sense of who I wanted to be.
Yes.
Today, who do you want to be? Who is it that you look, or not even who as a person, but who do you want to be? The values, the characteristics, the qualities, the inner that you were speaking about. What are those things that you aspire for today?
We heard a story about this couple. We have a section on our show called Drew's News. We had pulled up a story about the couple who was in 100 years of age. I think they'd been married for, 80-something years. And they said when they were asked, like, can you give a wisdom? And their wisdom was, when you are getting in a row or a fight or something, like, take a time out. There today who inspires me, because again, it does not have to be of the romantic kind, but when you see yourself rising, when that blood starts to boil, when you start to like clench and freak and get spun out, instead of spewing that reaction and like Linda Blair Exorcist all over the room, I will have such regret for any type of moment that I have like that. And I want to become the master of the person who knows how to excuse themselves, walk away, take a deep breath. I have breathe written on my wrist in tattoo, and I still forget to look at it. Like, after one rich, deep breath, after one removal of yourself in a situation, after one timeout, after one walk away, you are not going to come back usually as spun out. So I think that for me is probably like the goal du jour in my life right now, is like behavior mastery. And funny enough, as far as the people I follow, it's the same people for the last 30 years. It's Nan and Chris and Peter and Brian and Steve. It's like Cameron and my oldest friend, Mel. We celebrate 40 years this year.
Wow.
I stick with people because I'm still trying to become like them. But we have a hella good time, like, along the way. But I just am in love with people who I think, God darn it.
Yeah.
When I get to be like you, when I can learn to react like you, when I can live the way I see you living, because they're not fun. They're not funny and spontaneous and cool and interesting and have a wild side. Like, you don't have to be boring.
No, definitely not.
But I think when you're a kid, at least I did, I thought you probably were, if you were an almighty person, you were probably a crashing bore. So I wanted to hang out with all like the ruckus. I wanted to be in the rumpus room with all the like kookadoodles just like me. But everyone I admire, they're just like really cool people too. They're fun and loving and interesting and humorous. So it turns out all the people you admire don't have to be boring. They can be everything you want to be.
Love that. Drew, thank you so much
for my God, Jay,
opportunity.
I love you so much.
I love you too. This was one of the most beautiful human exchanges that I've had. It was such a special memory because
I
of your
find that interesting because I feel like that's what you do and give to people every
it
day.
It is, but I don't know, it's different when you really get to hear from the heart and speak from the heart.
I was going to say, it feels so open-hearted.
Yeah.
Like you and I just like, you know, my dad used to say about like the body, it's just Tupperware, man. It's just Tupperware.
That's good.
And it's like, it's true. It's like, when do you sit down and sort of like unzip your chest and like reveal your organs and your heart? And like, for all those people who romanticize the head and the heart, also please pay attention to the gut.
Yeah.
The gut.
Oh, yes, absolutely. For sure.
And Barry even says like so many ancient wisdoms
Yes.
are really about the gut.
Absolutely. It's all about the gut.
The health, the insight, the instinct, the truth, the
trauma,
alarm bells.
Yeah.
Like, God, pay attention. One thing as a mom I've really hooked into in the last like year is telling my girls, I want you to pay attention to what feels good or makes you feel good. That's fantastic. Let's go with that. But I want you to be as equally heightenedly aware of what doesn't make you feel good.
Absolutely.
And let's explore that.
I love that. Yeah, it's so needed. It's so needed. I'm so glad you raised that about the gut. It's so easily missed, and I think we're just getting there now.
Well, it's not
As a
sexy.
society. Yeah, exactly.
The heart and the head is poetry.
Yeah.
But
HH, gut. Yeah. It's
that,
like no
that
alliteration.
gut,
Yeah.
trust that, because that's your
Yeah.
little compass inside your body.
I love it.